streaming and the letters come up, which I think they are now. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to, I don't even know what day is it. What, we're on Thursday now? Welcome to this Thursday's live stream. This evening, we're triple streaming. We're on YouTube, we're on TikToks, and we are on X. Listen, guys, the crux of this video is going to be right now, I'm calling it UK schools are under attack. There's been multiple articles on the mainstream media, multiple accounts on X, multiple anecdotal experience now. It's only a matter of time, guys. And look, let me just, before we get onto this, I mean, we're going to be talking about how Donald Trump is clearly watching my page. Like, I believe that Donald Trump has got me on TikTok and he's watching me, and and the things that Donald Trump are saying now are things that I said over a year ago. Literally, he's using the same words that I was using over a year ago. Don't believe me? Don't worry about it. Go and check on my page. Elon Musk, he's now following me. He must be, because the things Elon Musk's saying, they're the things that I've been saying over a year ago. Don't believe me? Absolutely fine. Go and look at the things I was saying a year ago. So when I tell you guys that the United Kingdom is going to become part of the United States, when I tell you guys there's going to be a mass exodus of Western culture to Antarctica, you kind of got to believe, you got to start believing at some point, guys, because that is where we're headed. But if you live in the United Kingdom right now, the breaking news that the media seems to not be covering is our schools are under attack, guys. Our schools are under attack. Now, I'm just going to read you the headlines. I've got 3 headlines here. I'm going to read you these headlines, and then I'm going to read you an X post. Now, ladies and gentlemen, all right, I'm putting this together myself. There's been very limited information released by the police. So I'm just going to give you the 3 headlines. I'll give you the X post, and then we'll come on to the comments. So, police issue major update after schools placed in lockdown over migrant surge. This comes after a search that saw a school in Essex enter lockdown measures. Essex police, parents take children home as schools locked down after migrants spotted. Police have made an arrest at a school in Essex, confirmed it was in lockdown following the reports of an asylum seeker in the area. I'm just giving the headlines, ladies and gentlemen, from the mainstream media. No, I'm not paying. I'll accept your whatever you want. Multiple schools on lockdown after police launch major manhunt. Helicopter called in. This is a breaking news story and it's being updated constantly. So they're all the things that are reporting on the mainstream media right now. Also, from a I want to say Twitter, from an X post, it's uploading. That's weird. From an X post that I got saved and it's not loading up for some reason. What I'm hearing of sources on the ground, and this is not confirmed, ladies and gentlemen. Let me be clear, this is not confirmed. This is the same migrant that got released yesterday. Now, again, I've got it. Oh, here it is. Right. Breaking. School lockdown in Waltham Abbey. The same migrant that was in schools yesterday is now trying to break into Leverton Primary School. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if that's real. I've got no inside information on this, but there's a lot of people commenting that it's the same migrant. Is this how we live now? Ladies and gentlemen, is this how we live? First of all, where's the Muslim community? Where's the Muslim Brotherhood out protesting on March? Protect our kids, protect our girls, protect our schools. Where's the Sikh community? Protect our kids, protect our girls, protect our kids, protect our girls. Are you like, where's all the community here? We have got people trying to attack our schools. And I'm calling it now, guys. And again, Donald Trump's watching my page. Elon Musk's watching my page. That idiot, I don't even know what his name is. The singer. He's probably watching my page now. And clearly now, ladies and gentlemen, when I'm saying things are coming, you've got to take them with a little bit of savory detail. I was calling this like midsummer, I started to say, look, guys, I think schools are going to be at risk here. I really do. I think schools are going to be at risk here. But ladies and gentlemen, is this how we live now? This is a question. I'm going to jump onto the chat in a second. Is this how we live now? Is this life in modern Britain? Like, and at what point do we just accept this? You know how we've all just accepted things happen to girls? You know how we've just accepted that? At what point do we all just accept, oh yeah, has your school been broken into yet? Yo, it's not been done yet. Yeah, ours has been done a few times. Anybody get? No, nobody this time. We were lucky. The teachers had to go and fight on the playground. All right, okay. Like, is this life? Is this life? Is this humanity? Is this how we live now? Can you imagine? Sorry, I'm shouting. Can you imagine, guys, right? You're at work. You go to work to pay. You go to work to pay your bills so you can pay tax so the government can fund the migrants. Then the migrants are going and attacking schools. So it's like, you know that meme? Do you guys know what I'm talking about with the meme? And it's got like the guy and he's got two buttons. Go to work, pay taxes to give to the government to bring migrants in. Get your kids raped. You see where I'm going here? It's unbelievable. So they're the headlines, ladies and gentlemen. I'm calling it now. British schools in the United Kingdom are under attack. Again, I can't confirm that this is the same guy. And again, remember, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a crime. It is not a crime. Like, if the migrants want to come into our schools and strip naked, it's not a crime. Well, maybe that would be a crime, actually. I'll take that back. That would be a crime. But if a migrant wants to come into your school and teach alternate physics, that's not a crime, ladies and gentlemen. So let's stop bitching about it, because it ain't a crime. We just got to accept it. We have literally just got to accept it. Do you know why? Because we don't have a constitution. We don't have any legal framework to oppose the government. Right, let me start with these. Hang on. Give me a second, guys. Sorry, talking about dried fish. Don't worry about it. Right, I'm going to get some comments now, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we don't have to live like this. I don't think we have to live like this anyway. I don't think we should have to live like this. I think it's ridiculous. It's an insult. It's an insult to our grandfathers. Grumbling Grunts is saying, how far will they let this go until the government take us seriously? How far does this have to go, guys? Like, how far at what point do we just normalize migrant? I mean, what do we do? I'm going to say, yeah, do you know what? Let's just open the gates and let them play with the kids at playtime. Saves us dinner ladies a job. Yeah, and then Martin Quinn here. So Martin Quinn is saying, if we go and protect our children, we are the ones in the wrong. So, like last year, there was an incident in Doncaster. I don't know where it was in Doncaster exactly, but there was an incident in Doncaster last year. You guys can search this. It was on the news. There was a school near a migrant hotel, and what was happening is the migrants were coming out of the hotel at dinner time and going in the playground, and then the migrants and the school, the playground, backed onto a woods. And the migrants were going up to the kids on the other side of the fence, and I don't know what they were doing with them. I can only imagine. But then parents started to patrol the woods at dinner time because they didn't want that sort of stuff happening. So, and as Martin Quinn is saying there, if we go and protect our children, we're the ones in the wrong. Exactly. And one of the things I did videos about this, you guys can go and check those videos. One of the things I was saying is this is a very delicate situation, because you can imagine now if one of the mums or dads gets into melee with a migrant, there's no law against the migrant standing in the woods near a school gate. There isn't. There's no law against that, guys. No law against that at all. So, it's this very strange dynamic that we're in right now. Things that are just not like Western men just don't think about this. Western men just shouldn't have to worry about this. Western men shouldn't have to think, oh, well, hang on a minute. Why doesn't my school have a 10-foot wall with razor wire around the top of it? But there we are, guys. It does look like the United Kingdom right now, schools are a legitimate target. It does look like schools are under attack, and it does look like schools are under attack from migrants. Now, that's not me. That's not me speculating. That is me reading the mainstream media. I'll read you the articles again real quick before we come on to what Donald Trump said. But that's me looking at the mainstream media and thinking, right, I'm putting 2 and 2 together. I'm seeing schools on lockdown now. I think it's 3 days in a row. Schools in Essex. Is it 3 days in a row? I think it's 3 days in a row now. Schools in Essex have been on lockdown. Did this ever happen before, guys? Did this used to happen? Did this used to happen? Back in the 90s, how many times did your school go into lockdown? How many times did you have to lock the doors and hide? I don't know. Also, there are reports from there are lots of ex-posts talking about this is the same guy that was arrested yesterday. Right, let me jump onto the comments, guys, and then we'll cross over. Pineapple Chunks is saying, if someone isn't picking up children, they're responsible for that. Pineapple Chunks is saying, if someone isn't picking up children they're responsible for, they shouldn't be outside. Absolutely. Why would you be outside of school? Honestly, I had to a couple of maybe even I can't remember what it was, maybe last year or something. I had to walk past the school, and it was I think it was home time. Oh God, honestly, I was terrified. I was like, oh God, there's kids, and I'm gonna get shouted, and they're gonna, oh God, it's gonna be horrible. I didn't want to be around those kids leaving school. I just didn't want to be around them. I wasn't walking down going, oh, hello, beautiful children. Can I take a picture of you? Can I take a picture of you? I didn't want to be there. And I'm not being a dick. I just didn't want to be around that. Yeah, Pineapple Chunks. I understand what you mean, Pineapple Chunks. And look, Pineapple Chunks, don't worry, Pineapple Chunks. I have this thing where I read something, I look at, I scan it, and I think I know what it means. And sometimes sometimes I get it wildly wrong. Oh, Grumbling Grunts is doing a podcast. Well done, mate. Please share it. Please share your podcast, and we'll try and get some traffic over there. So Colette, yeah, listen, okay, guys, this is chilling. This is absolutely chilling now. Colette, hang on, let me try and pin this. Where's Colette's? Colette Hart is saying, Nothing will happen until a child is hurt. Then there will be uproar. Colette, I agree with you 100%. Nothing will happen, and I can't say it better. This is going on, and it's going on. At what point are one of these migrants going to get into a school and somebody get hurt? I mean, what's he even doing in those schools anyway? You know, I mean, he's a fully grown man. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to come on to Trump now. I'm going to come on to something that Trump was... So Donald Trump was in... So Donald Trump was talking about the migrant crisis in the United Kingdom, and that's vanished, right? But well, he was talking about that. Where's that gone? Hang on. Let me search for this. Right. I think we've got it here. Give me a second, guys. I do apologize. Not that one. Not that one. Right. I think this is it. Let me play this. Let me see if this is it.
It doesn't matter what means you use, but it's going to destroy. It destroys countries from within. And we're actually now removing a lot of the people that came into our country. It's a very hard chore. We were given a very, very bad hand. Millions of people came in from prisons and mental institutions. We have to remove them. And we are removing them. We have no choice, and I feel very strongly about it.
No, so we missed the last bit on that. There's a clip. I can't find it. Donald Trump is saying that Keir Starmer should bring the military in. Yeah, here we are. Hang on, guys. Sorry.
Think about it. I think your situation is very similar. People coming in, and I told the Prime Minister I would stop it, and it doesn't matter if you call out the military, it doesn't matter what means you use, but it's going to destroys countries from...
So Donald Trump there is saying that Keir Starmer should use the military to stop the migrants. Have you noticed how everybody is literally 1 year behind what we say on this channel? They're literally like everything that happens. We were talking about it a year ago. And if you don't believe me, that's absolutely fine. But you know what? All the things I say are public record, so you can go and fact check me. Go back. If you don't believe me, go back on my TikTok profile. One of the videos I've got pinned at the top. Sean, how would you deal with this migrant crisis? And I outline how I would use the military on the how I would use the Royal Navy on the border, using existing legislation that's already in place to stop the migrants coming to the United Kingdom. And you know, when people say, oh, Labour are finished, Labour are over, Labour are done. Believe me, guys, all Keir Starmer has to do is put the Navy on that skirmish line and say, we're good, no more. And I promise you, at the beginning of, before the next election, he will do that. I promise you guys, before the next election, Keir Starmer will do that. He will stop the boats. And then people will be like, oh, look, Keir Starmer's managed to do what nobody else could. Oh, look how good he is. Look how good he is. And people will vote for him. That's coming, guys. That's coming. It's all part of a plan. It's all part of the plan to get people on universal basic income, to bring in digital ID, you know, to have this whole Anglosphere. But yeah, Donald Trump is now saying things that I was saying over a year ago. And, you know, it's unbelievable how crazy these things are. So Nikki New, how are you? Nikki New is saying, but Stormer won't because he's controlled by the elites. He's just a puppet who will take the fall. I agree with that statement, but I agree with that statement. Now I'm going to add to that statement a question for you, Nikki New. If those elites, whoever you're claiming those elites are, behind the scenes think their guy is going to fall or fail, or there's any question mark over him, do you think they're going to let that happen, or do you think they're just going to stop the boats for a little bit? Stop the boats, win the votes, open the boats, bring the digital ID in. I probably should have thought of that a little bit better, But maybe Keir Starmer will go. Maybe he'll go before the next election. But don't rule the Labour Party out, because all they need to do is put the Royal Navy on that skirmish, on the border, and that's it. They're going to get millions more votes. Right, I'm going to jump over to YouTube, guys. I'm going to get some comments on YouTube. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I guess we're on now. The crux of this video is UK schools, I believe, are under attack. As I understand it, and I think it's 3 days now, 3 days in Essex, multiple schools have been in lockdown because migrants breaking into the schools. Now, there are unconfirmed, I've got to say this now because there's nothing out on the mainstream, there are unconfirmed social media reports that this is the same migrant that was released from custody like yesterday or whenever it was. So can we not protect our schools? And unfortunately, as we know by the guy trespassing into the lady's house, we know that I can go and walk into a school and it's not a crime. It's not a crime for me to go and walk into a school. Like when the teacher is teaching about, I don't know, maths or whatever, Billy Blue Hat, Roger Red Hat, I don't know. I could walk into a primary school. I didn't know this. I wouldn't do this. But I could walk into a primary school right now and it's not a crime. I could take me and my bros and we could just have a barbecue. We could. Me and my bros, we could just go and have a barbecue on the school playground and say, no, we're not leaving. The police would have to be called. Then the police would have to remove us. But there's no crime being committed. It's civil, it's trespass. There's no crime being committed. I think this is going to happen more. I think this is going to happen more and more until we reach a critical mass, until the police don't even bother coming out anymore. And the police are like, right, has anybody been? No, nobody's been. Not yet. All right, phone us back if somebody's had one of them, and we'll come out. But we're not going to come out if they're just having a barbecue and a couple of beers on your playground. We're gonna just lock your school down. Debbie Doobs is saying there's more harm Starmer has done than just the migrant situation. Anyone that votes Labour is beyond help. Unfortunately, and I mean no disrespect, I really don't mean any disrespect. Unfortunately, a lot of the elderly voters have just always voted Labour, and they don't know any better. And they're getting a lot of votes from the elderly. When I used to canvass for reform and I used to walk around, you know, I used to give them a leaflet, and on the back of the leaflet there was, you know, can you answer these questions and text me? And, you know, and one of the questions was, who will you be voting for in the next election? And like, you would be surprised the amount of people who I spoke to who said, I've always voted Labour. I don't really care about politics. I've always voted Labour because my mum and dad voted Labour. And these are people in like their 60s, 70s, you know. So, you know, it is what it is, guys, unfortunately. Saddy but a baddie. Sad but a baddie. Sorry. Sad but a baddie. Hello, sad but a baddie. I hope you're not really that bad. He's saying, have you seen the new political party, Advance UK? Tommy Robinson made a video on it today. Says don't go to Reform. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm always a year in front of everyone. Everyone. Whatever people are talking about now, you can guarantee I spoke about it a year ago. So maybe even longer than a year ago, actually, in this case. So I was a candidate for Reform. Yep, I was. I had leaflets printed. I had little rosette. I was a candidate for Reform. When I looked at the organization Reform, I didn't want to be part of it, guys. I did not want to be part of that organization. Now, let me caveat this. I didn't want to be part of that organization. I resigned the very day that so I don't know what day this was, but the very day that Nigel Farage announced that he was going to be running in like Clacton, whatever it was, that's the day I resigned. Because I'd already made my decision up. I'd made my decision. I was like, right, I've made my decision. I'm not a bitch. I'll go with my decision, right or wrong. And I do think it was the right decision. Sorry, but I just needed that qualifying statement for sad but a baddie. Would it not sad but a baddie? Would your name not? Would your handle not be better if it was saddy but a baddie? Saddy but a, I don't know. Sorry. You can, of course, call yourself whatever you want, and you're more than welcome on my channel. So she's saying, I think it's a lady. I'm pretty sure it's a lady. I can only just make her thumbnail out. Have you seen the new political party, Advance UK? Tommy Robinson made a video on it today. Says, don't vote for Reform. Again, I was saying this a year ago. I was saying the problems a year ago that I saw in Reform. And those problems are deep-rooted. They're establishmentized now. And the problem is, the problems have got bigger, I think, since I resigned from Reform. When you take money off people, where's that guy gone? You know, the guy with the tattoos on his face, what's he doing now? You know that everybody gave 50 quid to, where's he gone now? When you start taking, and this is a massive problem, when you start taking money from people in big donations, you kind of work for them. You know, you've got to have a look, see where this money's coming from. Templar Matt is saying, no offense to any pensioners. Well, I don't listen. By the time I'm ready to get a pension, there'll be no such thing as a pension. Templar Matt is saying, no offense to any pensioners, but we could do with pensioners sat outside some schools to look out for any threat, then contact the police. But most people, yes, Templar Matt has hit the nail on the head right here. And this is what I was saying, isn't it? Templar Matt is saying, and what a fantastic thumbnail Templar Matt's got. Templar Matt is saying most people work and can't patrol the schools for 6 hours a day. So, you know, this is the thing. You get up in the morning, You go to, right, come on, get your breakfast, get your shoes on, you find your uniform. What? All right, give me that shirt. Come on, I'll do it quick. Have you got your PE kit? Have you got your maths books? What? No, they're upstairs in your bedroom. Go and get them. What? Daddy, I want orange juice. Right, we ain't got orange juice. We've got apple juice. But Daddy, I said get orange juice yesterday. Right, all right, I forgot. Can you deal with apple juice? Yeah, okay then. Right, don't get sad because you've got apple juice, not orange juice. You forgot to remind me. Okay, Daddy, can I have water? Right, are you going to drink it because you've not touched that apple juice in? It's just going to have to go to the bin. Yeah, right. What do you want? A hot breakfast or do you want cereal? I want cereal. What cereal? I want Oreos. What do you need, Oreos? Cookies and cream. Right, okay. Are you going to eat them? Yeah. Are you sure? Because like yesterday, you didn't eat them. I threw them away. I'll eat them, Daddy. Right, okay. Stop playing on your phone. Right, come on. It's time to school. Does that resonate to anyone? Does that resonate to anyone? Right, come on, hurry up. You need to, have you got, if they're old enough, have you got your key? I might not be back from work. Mums and dads are going to work because we need to pay for the migrants. We do. Mums and dads have to work because these migrants need paying for. Also, while we go to work to pay for the migrants are attacking our kids at school. Oh, I eat because I'm sad, and I'm sad because I eat. It's a vicious circle. That's where we are right now, guys. That is where we are right now. Perfect comment, Matt, Templar Matt. Well brought up, well articulated, and perfectly brought up. So, that's where we are right now, guys. UK schools are under attack. That is the reality. 3 days. 3 days. Schools in Essex, 3 days now, all on lockdown. And this is just Essex. And it's very difficult to find this. You literally, look, guys, and when I start doing when I'm working on these things, Google is massively restrictive. It's honestly if you search Essex school lockdown, you'll get nothing. You will get nothing. You literally have to put in the school name and lockdown. Otherwise, you get no search results. Honestly, I'm like, how can that algorithm be? I don't know how these algorithms work, guys. I don't. But I'm like, how can those algorithms not be showing you this? So somewhere, someone surely is manipulating these. Give me a second, guys. Hang on. Wait. Right, sorry. It was just about that African. Something just popped up. African tribe facing second eviction from Borders Woods. Yeah, so there's there's an African tribe in Scotland, and they're claiming that. Let's go with it because it popped up, so I'm going to go with it. We're now talking about African tribe. I'm just looking. So, right, if anybody's seen the image from an hour ago on the BBC, African tribe facing second eviction from Borders Woods. Just wait till it gets to winter, they're going to be gone. Self-styled African tribe is facing a second eviction from a makeshift camp in Woodland on the Scottish borders. The 3 members of the self-proclaimed Kingdom of Kabbalah were evicted from their first encampment on privately owned land near Jedburgh. But they set up a new camp on council land just a few meters away on the other side of the wire. Yeah, it is what it is, guys. Look, I'm not the crux of this video. We're going to be talking about the schools, but it flashed up and I just saw the picture of them. The three of the tribe. There's one dude, and I believe so. There's an African dude. I believe he's got an African wife and an African concubine. and they're wearing very similar jackets. I wonder where they got them from. One of the things when I first started talking about this particular article was, again, something I've previously mentioned. We're going to have legal claims using adverse possession, where you will have migrants claiming to be living in Woodland for over 10 years, and they will be putting a legal claim in for that Woodland. And I think some of these excuse me, I think some of these claims will go through. I really do. I mean, yeah, I mean, look, I mean, fair play. Kofi Offer, who calls himself king. Oh, the king got evicted from his land. I mean, I wonder if he speaks. Right, I'm gonna leave that, guys. Let me close this down now, because that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about now, ladies and gentlemen, is breaking news in the UK. Essex have had schools in lockdown for, I think it's 3 consecutive days now. That, to me, constitutes an attack on schools, by migrants. Now, I've been talking about this. One of the things I said is, as soon as the 6 weeks holidays finish, mums and dads have to go back to work and kids go back to school. They're going to be vulnerable. And as clockwork, ladies and gentlemen, we are now seeing that. And that's not me speculating, guys. That is not me speculating. I'll give you the updates now. I'll give them again. Police issue major update after schools placed in lockdown over migrant surge. Essex Police live. Parents take children home as schools lock down after migrant fear. And then the final article, multiple UK schools locked down after we're not American, after police launched major manhunt. So, these things are happening now. Our children are clearly not safe at schools. And isn't that just like, what do you think that, like, as a society, if we can't keep our children safe, are we even a society anymore? Because I can guarantee when this keeps happening, the media will lose interest of it, and it will just be like a thing. It will just be a thing. Migrants will just be allowed to wander in and around schools because the police, look, this is wild. I know it's wild. Let's just look at the precedents here. And I'm just putting these together now. Can you guys remember? You guys will be able to remember. Like I've said a few times now. About when I went to my local B&M and there was a guy stealing coffee pods, right? You guys can remember me giving the story about the guy stealing coffee pods. I don't know if it was the same guy, but, I didn't really look at the first guy. I didn't even know he was stealing them the first time. The second time I was like, oh, right. Yeah, I've got another guy stealing coffee pods. The third time I was like, oh, yeah, he's the coffee pod guy. So and I don't go there often. And if you guys remember, when I spoke to the woman on the counter, I said, do you not phone the police about the coffee pod guy? And she says, oh, they just don't bother anymore. They just say phone the insurance company. I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, I promise you, thumbnail this video, put it to your favorites or whatever. We are coming, and this is going to make everybody sad. We are coming to a stage in the United Kingdom when the police won't even come out anymore if there's migrants on school property. And this is how it'll go. They'll first start coming out, there's migrants on, There's migrants on school property. Oh, right, get the police round, get them out. All right, okay. And then it will turn to, there's migrants on school property. Right, have they entered the buildings? No, they've not entered the buildings. Okay, right, just leave them, they'll go. Okay. And then the kids, like you can imagine playtime, you're going to have, remember when you used to have wet playtime? Yeah? You know when you used to have wet playtime? They're going to have something now called migrant playtime, where you're not allowed out into the playground because migrants are on the playground. Or migrants, do you know what? Maybe they'll call it black playground. We're going to have black playtime. We're having black playtime, kids. Oh, okay. What, you don't like it? That's a dojo point. Strick off you racist child. What? I just want to play outside. How dare you? Those migrants have just fled the war in France and they just want to come and cook a pigeon on the playground. How dare you? How dare? Oh, sorry, miss. Sorry, miss. What am I supposed to say? That's where we're going, guys, you know, and then we're gonna evolve into, you know, oh, yeah, migrants have come into the school. Okay, right, we're gonna send the police out. Okay. Yeah, he's just walking around, right? Okay. He's just having a look round. He's just using the toilet. What? Why is he using the toilet? Well, he's having a barbecue on the field. Oh, all right, fair enough. I feel bad now. And then he's gonna come to, yeah, we've got migrants in our school. Ah, have they entered any classrooms? No. All right, we're not going to come out then. We'll just leave them to it. That's where we're going, guys. I promise you, that is where we are heading right now. That's where we're heading. Martin Quinn, well, I'm going to pin this actually, and I'm just going to say, they're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the pets of the people who live there. Right. Deborah Phillips is saying, I've seen posts. Veterans are going to patrol the streets. It's madness. The numbers aren't there, Deborah. The numbers are not there. Literally, the numbers are not there. What happens, right? What happens when a veteran takes down a migrant who's got a sharp implement in his hand and he's walking towards a school and that veteran ends up choking him out or something, like, and that veteran is then up in court for a racially aggravated attack? That's what it is. That is literally what it is right now in the in the joke country of the United Kingdom. Hang on, there's a comment there. And then Kerry, excuse me. Kerry is saying that's the scary truth, unfortunately. It is, guys, you know, there's no way around it right now. So look, my advice to you right now, if you're a dad, or a mom, I guess, but mainly to dads. If you're a dad right now, do you know what? If you're a dad right now and you've got girls, this is going to be brutal. This is going to be brutal, guys, all right? So maybe you don't want to listen to this. If you're a dad right now and you've got girls or a girl, go watch the video of Irena Zarutska in America. Go watch that video of Irena Zarutska. Look how scared she was. Look how terrified she was. Look how absolutely helpless she was. And use those feelings to make sure that you've got enough money to provide for your daughter or daughters. Honestly, men, fathers, you need to do that. Because if you don't do that and your daughter has to go and work, or you can't buy her a car and pay for all the shit that goes with it, then that's what she's in risk. That's the threat that you're putting your daughter in. And I know you don't want that. So right now, while you can, don't go to the pub. Don't go out with your mates watching the football. Think about Irena Zarutska and you picture yourself how that would affect you. And then tell me, is it real? Do you really want to go out? Do you really want to go out drinking to the football with your mates? Or do you want to look after your daughters? I know what I'm choosing. Every time I know what I'm choosing. And I don't drink anyway, do I, guys? I don't drink. Blub on TikTok is saying a part of me died when I watched that video. Absolutely tragic, guys. Just tragic. I mean, that video was particularly poignant to me. One of my like really good friends, he's Ukrainian, and I helped him get his family out of Ukraine in 2022. And his eldest daughter, I think she's 17 now, or she might have just gone to no, she's 17. So she was like I think she was 13 when the invasion. No, she wasn't. Was she 13? Yeah, she was 13 when the invasion happened, and we had to get her out. Because that's what white men. That's what you do. That's what bros do. Bros look after each other. So I helped him get his family out, and his daughter's of that age now. And you know, when I saw that video of Irena Zarutska just sat there on the train, minding her own business, and this black guy comes in, and he took her life because she was white. And don't give me any bullshit saying there was another reason behind it. There wasn't. He saw a white girl, he decided to take her, and he took her. So, guys, look, I've done videos on this before. You know, use that as your guiding force right now. You don't want your daughter to be Irena Zarutska. You don't even want to put your children in that situation. If they're men and they're boys, they can defend themselves because, contrary to popular belief, and I might get restricted for saying this, but men are stronger than women. And with that, it's men's responsibility to look after women. That's how the world goes, guys. Everybody has their place in society. Everybody has their place in the world. When you start mixing everything up, that's when all shit goes wrong. Right. What? From now is, do you know what? From now is just give me a comment on YouTube. I can't repeat the comment he's saying because it will just get me restricted. Philip Gray is saying, you know what? I've just tried to think of some good news in the world, and I can't think of any. Well, maybe these asteroids, maybe the aliens are coming. I don't know. Maybe the aliens are coming in Halloween, and we're going to have, like, I don't know, World War G. Am I coining that? Am I coining World? Yeah, World War G for galactic. Maybe World War G is going to start in October, at the end of October. Oh, hang on. Right. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting close to closing this down on YouTube. From Now has brought a really big comment up over on YouTube that I do want to explore. Now, what I'm going to say is, just real quick, I've spent a lot of time in the Middle East, and you know the things that predominantly happen to girls in the UK by predominantly, you know, a certain demographic. You guys know what I'm talking about. That doesn't just happen to girls. And in many parts of the Middle East, it's preferred to do that sort of stuff with boys. So, you know, it's an icky conversation, but I do have a little bit of experience in that. That came out wrong, didn't it? I do have a little bit of experience in that part of the world, so I know how that sort of stuff happens. And look, guys, if you want to just do a quick Google search, just do a quick Google search for, I don't know, T-boys, Afghanistan, Chai boys. Do a quick Google search for Chai boys in Afghanistan, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Gert is saying they're just indoctrinating camps. If you look into the American schools and school buses, they're prisons and prison buses. The similarities are very close. Do you know what, Gert? It's funny, actually. I was talking to my sister about this today, and my sister's like, she's so angry with everything. And my sister went on a bit of a monologue, and she was saying, look, you go to school, you go to school to learn to work. You work to pay taxes, to try and buy a house to live in while you work and pay taxes. Then you die and you have to give it all away. And and then earlier on today, I was just on the way back here, actually. I was at, what do you call them? Traffic lights. I was at the traffic lights. And somebody came over on a bike. Like, he went over traffic lights on a bike. And he stopped at the traffic lights because the cars were going. And he looked absolutely bootstrapped. Absolutely bootstrapped. And I was looking at him and I was thinking, is this life? Is this life? We are literally just slaves. We are literally slaves. I don't think human, there's got to be a better way of existence. There's absolutely got to be a better way of existence. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I would hope personally we can get off this planet and, European culture can start doing what Europeans do, which is drive and push and create new land and new stuff. I would hope that that's what we can do. But right now, guys, we are literally slaves. We're slaves to ourselves. And then, you try and get a car on finance to drive you to the place of work so you can pay for your car. And then you can pay for your house that you're never in because you're always at work. I think there's a meme or something like this. And then you think about prison. Literally, what is the difference with prison? And I know Gert is talking about schools and it being a prison and indoctrination to prison. Well, think about prison. You get up, you do your stuff, you get your meals. Do you know what? You could actually argue that prison is better because you don't have to worry about taxes. You don't have to worry about bills. Do you know what? Actually, guys, I'm selling it to myself. You don't have to worry about any of that when you're in prison. You just get given stuff, or if you're a migrant, obviously. Right, listen, guys. I am going to jump over to YouTube in a minute. I will be jumping over to YouTube. If you guys are not following me on YouTube, can you go and help me out and jump over to YouTube, guys? Because I will be continuing this live stream over on YouTube. Trigger Khan. Is that a song? No, it's Shaka Khan, isn't it? Trigger Khan is saying, yes, it happens in Afghanistan. It does, guys. It happens massively in Afghanistan. Absolutely huge that you know, I spent a lot of time in Afghanistan, and I witnessed some of this. As a Western man, and I'm going to give you guys the Reader's Digest version here. As a Western man, you don't see when you know, do you know what? This is not my speculation. This is not my opinion, and this is not my analysis. But I'm really cautious about what I'm about to say because I don't. I usually get banned for this. Right, okay. Right, I don't know if I'm gonna get banned. I may get banned in this sentence, guys. All right. If I get banned, make sure you jump over to YouTube. As a Western man, you don't think there's anything wrong with like a police chief or something bringing a small 10-year-old boy and helping him out with stuff. You just think he's his nephew or something. That's just what you think. That is literally just what you think. You know, you're there, you've got to do your own stuff. Sean, your bloke's weapons clean. Yeah, they're clean. It's clean. Have you got your? Yeah, I've done that. Yeah, have you got the rations? Yeah. What about the water? Yeah, right. We've got to move out in 2. Yeah, I've got everything. Like, you don't think why this little boy, like 10, 12-year-old boy, is coming onto camp. You don't. You just don't think about it. As a Western man, you don't even, it doesn't even click. As a Western Christian, doesn't even click. That sort of shit doesn't even click. But when you understand how dark that actually is, you kind of wish you didn't open that rabbit hole. Right, I'm going to get the last few comments on YouTube, and then I will not on YouTube. I'm going to get the last few comments on TikTok, and then I'm going to jump over to YouTube. Patrica. Right, I'm sorry, I'm struggling with your second name. Kaza. Head for the bridge of Khazad-dûm. Kaza is saying Donald Trump talked about money. I mean, I don't think that's a bad thing. We need money to make the world go around. Donald Trump's a businessman, and that's all he knows. He knows business, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I would certainly like to have more money. I'm not going to lie. I would. I'd certainly like to have more money. I don't think there's anything wrong with Donald Trump talking about business, because that's the way we are set up as a world. Like, you judge people, like we judge people's success by how much money they're making. We do. There's a woman. She's the owner of like one of these online gambling. I don't know. I think it's bet. I don't know what it is. It's one of the online gambling platforms. And there's this woman, all right. And I think she makes like £1 million an hour or something. No, that can't be right. £1 million a day or something. I don't know what it is. It's a lot of money. She's like one of the wealthiest women in the country. And she's constantly hailed as this business innovator, this brilliant leader. Do you know how much damage online gambling does to families, to men, to children? But because she's earning a lot of money, she's hailed as this fantastic businesswoman, and oh, she's fat, you know, she's brilliant, she's great. And you're like, hang on a minute. She's ruining people. Those gambling apps ruin people's lives. So now you've got the dad under a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure from social media. A lot of pressure from the TV. Kids have got new uniform. They need new uniform. They want the new football strip. They want new shoes. You know, your wife needs a new, I don't know, 200 mil in her lips or whatever. And you're like, right, okay. So you go on online gambling. It's a quick fix. You think you can win some money. Oh, you lost some money. Right, I'll bet bigger next time. Oh, you managed to break even. Oh, God. You see where I'm going here, guys, with these online gambling apps? But that woman is classed as a success. I think the metric of success is massively, massively skewed. Right, okay, right. But Kaza, right, okay. Kaza. Right, okay. Right, so Kaza is saying Donald Trump is a millionaire. He's not a trillionaire. He's not a trillionaire. There should be no people suffering in the world. I agree, there should be no people suffering in the world. How do you deal with that when people have are massively corrupt? Like a lot of the places, in fact, Kaza, I'm going to stay on it. In fact, Kaza, do you have the ability to jump over to YouTube? Kaza, do you have the ability to jump over to YouTube? Kaza, can you tell me where, like, people are suffering in this world? And I bet, in fact, I know that the places that people are suffering the most are the most corrupt countries. Nigeria, for example. You know what? I'm not going to talk about other countries. I'll get the live stream banned. Right, Kaza, if you can jump over to YouTube, we'll continue this conversation there, because I totally get it. I totally get how you can look at these tech billionaires. There's no trillionaires. These tech billionaires, and got all this money, and then there's people starving. These people that are starving, it's because I'm going to go onto YouTube, guys. I'm going to go onto YouTube and talk about this. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close this down now. If you've not done so already, please go follow me on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven 1 on X. We're going to be talking about this and everything else. I'm going to be a little bit more candid. I may get myself a pint of beer. I don't know. I may get myself a pint of beer. It may happen. It may not. But anyway, guys, listen. Jump over to YouTube, and if not, I will see you guys in the morning. I'll be back on at 10 in the morning, and hopefully tomorrow at 8 in the evening. And if not, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you when I see you. If I can close it down, yeah. That's awkward. We've got that awkward silence, and we're off. Right, we are off. Right. Suzanne is saying business when it comes to Trump, it's reverse Robin Hood. Rob from the poor and give tax cuts to the millionaires. Trump is running the USA like a mobster. Right, Susan, who should the tax cuts go to? And look, Susan, and I mean this as someone who's Susan, who should the tax cuts go to? That's a serious question, Susan. Who should the tax cuts go to? Leanne, sorry, off topic, but super nosy. What's the flag or picture on the wall in the background? Well, the flag's a Union flag, like flag of Great Britain. And that, I don't know. I'm going to bring it a little bit closer. Tell me who you think it is. I'm trying to grow my Aragorn hair. Aragorn, the king of men, because I don't feel I can be the king of men without the king of men hair. I hope Susan's still here. Susan just asked a question. Susan was just asking a question. I don't know. I hope Susan's here. Susan, I hope you're still here. So Susan, right, I'm going to kind of answer this question without Susan's input. But if you're still here, Susan, please jump in. So Susan is saying, business when it comes to Trump is reverse Robin Hood. And look, I know what you mean, but I think Robin Hood was a common thief and he was paying off the locals to hide him. He robs from the rich and gives tax cuts to millionaires. Who should tax cuts go to? So let me see if Susan's jumped back on, actually. Right. I don't think Susan's jumping back on. All right. Okay. So look, guys, let's just imagine, right? Let's just imagine that you have a company in the United Kingdom and you're paying like 50% tax. And from that tax, that's going to, that's going to give that you're paying for people who are unemployed, right? That's what's happening. If that country then starts to earn a little bit more money, let me give you a better example. Imagine you go to the pub, right? I think this is a better one. And I'm just thinking of this in real time. Right. Imagine you go to the pub, right? And your mate's got no money. So you're like, oh, don't worry, mate. I'll buy you beers. So you're standing at the pub and, this is a fantastic example, ladies and gentlemen. And this is why you are on my channel. I do this in real time, guys. I do this in real time, right? So for Susan talking about tax cuts, yes, this is a fantastic example, right? Right. So imagine you go to the pub. You're at the pub. You're like, yeah, your mate's there. He's got no money. So, yeah, don't worry, mate. I'll get you beers in, right? And you're, you're buying the beers. Your mate hasn't got any money. You've got some money, so you're buying the beers. You're both drinking. Yeah, you're having a good time. And then the bartender, the landlord comes out and is like, oh, guys, we've been charging too much for these pints of beer. Yeah, we've been charging too much. Then the landlord comes and he's like, right, tax return. And then he gives all the money to the guy who's not bought the beers. How's that fair? You see where that's like tax explained. It's not fair to give tax cuts to people who are not paying tax. It wouldn't be fair if you went to the pub and you were buying all the beers. If there was money to come back from those beers, it wouldn't be fair for that money to then go to the person who's not buying the beers. You see, you get that? So that's why you're on this channel, isn't it, guys? That's why you're on this channel, isn't it? Right, I think she's gone. I think Susan's gone, which I'm a little bit disappointed about. From now, he's saying the UK provides funding for protective security measures like CCTV and fencing for Muslims of faith schools. I didn't look. I don't know if that's true, guys. I don't know if this is true. I'm not saying you're wrong from now. I'm just saying I've not heard that. It's not the Muslims under attack. Yeah, look, we know right now, and I'm calling it. I believe schools in the UK are under attack. Literally three articles. I just read them quite a few times. It does look like schools in Essex right now are under attack. Ole is saying, hey, Sean, did you get my question about the Ukraine war? Ole Edwards, I may have done. Can you pretend I forgot your question about the Ukraine war? Ask me now, and I'll respond. And I'll give you the answer. Hatsun Miki saying we need security outside all schools. It's a sad society when we need to send our children to fortresses. Look, when we talk about security, I do know a little bit. In fact, I'll qualify that a bit more. I'm not going to qualify that anymore. When we talk about security, You either do it right, as far as I'm concerned, you do it right or you don't bother. And I'll say this to people when they come and say to me, they're like, oh, Sean, how much is it going to cost to secure my house? I'm like, what do you mean secure your house? I can secure your house for you, but secure your house against what? How much do you want to spend? You know, we shouldn't have a society where we have to fortify our schools. You know, give me a second. So we shouldn't live in a society where we have to fortify our schools. It's absolutely absurd. It really is. We know why it is. We know why it is. We know that, you know, I'm not even gonna say it, guys. We do have this like you know, the masses of, you know, migrants trying to enter schools at the moment. It's unbelievable. Okay, so Ollie said, okay, Ollie, do you think Russia will manage to get over the Dnipro River if they get there? I didn't realize they were pushed back from it in 2022. They weren't. They were pushed back from it right down south, and there's a lot of marsh area right down south. So it was. The Russians were operating in marshland just to they were operating it to, you know, in marshland as it in marshland anyway. So it wasn't as easy going. Now, I think that so there's okay. So if you look at a map of Ukraine, there's a few key locations on that map. So if you look at the map of Ukraine, the River Dnipro bisects the country more or less 50-50. From the top, from the north, you've got Kiev. These are the key locations. You've got Kiev, you've got Kremenchuk, you've got Dnipro and Zaporizhia right down right down at the bottom. Zaporizhia, in fact, is Zaporizhia? No, I think we'll not worry about Zaporizhia. Zaporizhia's got a massive nuclear power plant. Dnipro has, which is a city, has a huge heavy industry in Dnipro. Heavy metal, you know, a lot of steel production is in Dnipro. Kremenchuk, it has Xeon. Is it Xeon? Yeah, Xeon gas. Kremenchuk, 70% of the world's Xeon was produced in Kremenchuk. Now that's key for computer chips and being used in laser cutting. And then Kiev, obviously, which is the jewel in the Now, all those locations, with exception to Kremenchuk, is it Kremenchuk? In fact, you know what? I don't even think it is in Kremenchuk. I think even Kremenchuk, yeah. I think I may be slightly wrong on this, but I think the Xeon factories are just outside Kremenchuk in a place called Svitlovorsk. And Svitlovorsk, if you guys go and check this out on a map, and Svitlovorsk is just over the Dnipro. I'm not 100% sure on that, but what I'm getting at here is, if the Russians make it up to the River Dnipro, which if you are keeping an eye on this conflict, like I am, they will at some point, because they're gradually taking more and more ground every day. That's the reality. Whether you want to argue with it and say, oh, but the Ukrainians have got this weapon system now. Trump said this now. Oh, but the Ukrainians have got... No, none of that matters. It doesn't, because the Russians are moving forwards every day. And that's the reality. It doesn't matter. They're moving forwards every day. So will they be able to get over the River Dnipro? I think yes, in limited spaces, in limited places. I think they're going to want to take control of Dnipro. Dnipro obviously has that heavy industry. I think they're going to want to take control of the Xeon production in Kremenchuk. And again, Kremenchuk is on the, we'll just go with it. And also Kiev. Now, Kiev sits on the Dnipro. Just out of context, ladies and gentlemen, I've had the best chicken Kiev in Kiev. It's in a place called the Dnipro Hotel. It's on the River Dnipro. By definition, I must have had the best chicken Kiev in the world. It's not a flex, it's just reality. Now, Kiev sits, I'd say 60-30 on the Dnipro, with 60 being on the western side. I would say it's going to be very difficult for the Russians to take the lion's share of Kiev. It's just too big. When you're fighting in a built-up area, the amount of people, the human resources that you need to take those. I mean, look what's happening in Gaza. You know, the amount of human resources you need to, to get in there, you need a lot. So, do I think the Russians will be able to get over the River Dnipro? Yes, in some places, but only in those strategic places, which is going to be when in and around that infrastructure that they're going to want to take. And of course, given a long enough timeline, of course they're going to be able to bridge it. James is saying there's a new earthquake. There's an earthquake hits Russia. Right. Let me Google. Let me just have a look at this real quick. Wow, 47 minutes ago. Wow, Jesus. Right, guys, I'm literally getting this in real time. Obviously, this was 40 minutes ago. Right, earthquake warning. Sorry, tsunami warning issued. The governor of Russia's something region said early on Friday, obviously they're in front of us, that a tsunami warning has been issued for the area off the east coast of the peninsula after an earthquake measuring 7.2. Guys, that is massive. The US tsunami warning system said it issued no warning of threat of tsunami. All right, so the US is saying there's no tsunami. That's a very small article. Right, let me see what else I can get. Now, it is a little bit suspicious, isn't it? Like, the two things we can say here is, are they nuclear testing underground? Is it an actual earthquake? Or have the Americans just started to weaponize earthquakes now? Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to look at what this. The area is home to 7 military sites and submarine bases. That's suspicious. Do we want to go down conspiracy road? Right, let me just get this up on the maps. That's not it. What? What's just happened? Right. Right, Lisa Milbank is saying, yes, let's go down conspiracy. Let's go down conspiracy lane, shall we? Right, man. As soon as I said let's go down conspiracy lane, my internet started to become slow. Right, it's just unresponsive now. Right, I've got too many. Right, we'll close that. Close that. That one we can close. I've just had a message. Okay, right. We're going to go down conspiracy avenue here. So we all know that weather manipulation is a thing. We know that, right? We know that governments can make it rain and, whatever. So here's the thing, right? You know, when you're bidding for money, you're there, you're bidding, right? You bid for what's interesting. So do you think there is any military application in being able to have an earthquake somewhere? And you know how you see all these nuclear power plants being built in peculiar places? Do you ever wonder what that excess energy is being used for? And could there be some sort of I don't know, could people have figured out where all these cracks are in the earth and how to and how to cause earthquakes? I would speculate that there's been masses of funding, there's been masses of funding into that, guys. Why wouldn't you? If you're a country, if you was the United States of America and you're funding whatever, why wouldn't you? Oh, Professor Raven, you want to do a study on the use of weaponized earthquakes? Yeah, I like the sound of that. Yeah, go study it, see if it's possible. Right, Raven, what did you come up with? Yeah, I think we can do it if we, I don't know, if we send a certain frequency of vibration at these certain points in the earth, it will cause an earthquake. Yeah. No, seriously, I think we can do it. Oh, should we trial it? Yeah, let's trial it on a little place. Well, where are we going to trial it? Let's just trial it on a small scale here in the US. Okay. Did it work? Oh, yeah, it absolutely worked. All right, here's some more money. Make it bigger. What, you can actually do an earthquake? Yeah, we can do earthquakes. Wow, yeah. What? Nobody knows where an earthquake's coming from. It's the perfect weapon. And that is 100%. That is 100% conspiracy, guys. I've got no inside information on that. And even if I've no inside information on that. Right, I'm going to Google this and have a look where it is. It looks beautiful. Okay, so it's like up near Alaska. No, I don't know, actually. That place, you've got Japan. Japan's always, there's a lot of fault lines up there, guys. There is a lot of fault lines up that part. For some reason, I was thinking it was like at the other, I don't know. There's a lot of fault lines up there, so I'm not saying I'm just saying there's a lot of fault lines up in that part of the world. Surprisingly, not much more information out on the mainstream media at the moment. Let me have a look on X. Earthquake struck, tsunami threats possible, thousands of kilometers of epicenter, mainly impacting Russian coasts. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what damage has been done to the submarine bases and these military bases. So let's contextualize this and let's think about what we said yesterday. So yesterday we were talking about how this actually fits in. So yesterday we was talking about how we believe that the 26th, 27th of this month, some of you guys were saying that there could be boots on the ground in Ukraine. So what would you do before you did that attack or before you put boots in the ground? You would try and cripple your opponent's military. If you send missiles and bombs, they're going to know who's done it. If there's an earthquake and a tsunami and everything's just being flooded, how do you blame anyone for that? You get the same end, but the means are different. So I don't know, guys. I don't know about that. I have no idea. From now, he's saying it's a tectonic weapon. It's a hypothetical device or system which could trigger earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, or other seismic events in specific locations. I bet the Yanks got one. I'd like one. I'd like one just to have a look at it. Ian McMahon is saying, in the book of Thomas, Jesus said the world is a body of corpses. Oh, what? Sorry. Said the world is a body and a corpse. Sean McKay is saying, is Starmer the most hated so-called man in the UK and maybe Europe? Worst and most dangerous leader the UK has ever had? I don't know, but I would say I'd struggle to find another leader that's got as much negativity as Starmer, and I'm being really polite there. Gertie's saying Project Bluebeam. I don't know. Maybe it's, I think Project Bluebeam's the aliens, isn't it? Sean McKay is saying chemtrails were so, yeah, look, exactly, yeah. So chemtrails were a so-called myth, you know, until they weren't a myth. You know, it was like chemtrails were a myth, it's a conspiracy, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, no, they're a real thing. Yeah, we chemtrail the shit out of that place. And Martin Quinn is saying, by using electronic pulse signals like the Harry, I don't know what that means, neutralizes all electronics, so nothing will work unless you've got a tractor. That's old school. Endeavor to Preserve is saying the Russians have a submarine base area. The last time there was all right, okay, so there was one a month ago or so. So maybe there's just a lot of seismic activity. Maybe the Americans are trying to sink their Russian ships. This does fall into that. Just fall into what we were saying, though. If there is going to be boots on the ground or a military movement or a new dynamic in Eastern Europe on the 26th, 27th of this month, this would all fit into place. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, listen, guys, you guys have been fantastic. Thank you for hanging out with me this evening. Thank you so much. I'm going to go and have my dinner now. I did chop a lot of wood today. If you've not done so, guys, can you like, comment, subscribe, hit the buttons down below. If you're watching on X, the buttons up there really helps me out when you guys do that. I'll be back on tomorrow at 10. I do apologize if I've not managed to get everyone's comments. I really do, but I will try and I'll try and get more comments tomorrow. I've just been monologuing. You know, I don't know how people can say that British schools are not now under attack. 3 days, I believe it is now, in Essex, where schools have been on lockdown because migrants have been breaking into them. I do think we're going to start to normalize this. We're going to normalize it to an event, to an extent where you phone the police. Yeah, we've got migrants on our property. Are they in the buildings? No. Right. Well, we're not going to come out. Phone the insurance company up or something. Put a bigger fence up. You know, that's the direction that we're going right now, ladies and gentlemen. You know, viva la Antarctica. Viva la space travel. Because I can't wait to get my boots on Mars, guys. I really can't. Anyway, I will be back. Oh, yeah. Mr. Mystery is saying, enjoy your beer. I totally forgot to pour myself a pint. I've got kegs just over there. I've got like, I think I've got about 15 litres in a keg. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys at 10. If I don't see you at 10, I'll see you at 8. If I don't see you at 8, watch my videos. Keep liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing, guys, because that really helps me out.